What's going on, guys? Welcome to Essential Style. Today, we're going to be discussing how much is that cup of coffee really going to cost you per year. It's actually empty. I bought it the other day and I just wanted to save it. This cup of coffee, I paid about $1.80 for it a couple days ago. And you think it's not a big deal, right? Well, $1.80, let's just say it's $2 per coffee to make it easier just for the video, just for math purposes, right? $2 a day, and if you're like me, if you drink coffee, you drink at least 1 cup a day, sometimes 2, very rarely 3, but normally 1 or 2 cups of coffee. So we figure let's say you make 1 cup of coffee at home, and then you go out and you go to 7-Eleven or Starbucks or any of these great coffee places, right? And you spend $2 on a cup of coffee. You think $2, no big deal, right? Wrong. Because if you do that every single day, how many days are in 1 year? 365 days per year. So if you spend $2 a day and you're doing that every day and there's 365 days in a year, we know that 2 times 365 is 730. So buying 1 cup of coffee a day, every single day for 1 year is going to be a $730 coffee bill at the end of the year. Now, what happens if you buy 2 cups, 3 cups? Okay, let's see. 2 times 730 is going to be 1460. Now we're getting to be, that's $1,460 per year, guys, you're spending on a cup of coffee. So you may think it's only costing you $4 a day for 2 cups of coffee, but it's actually not. Now, let's say you're going and you're getting some of these more exotic coffee drinks like those lattes, and I don't even know what they are. I personally take my coffee, a little bit of cream, no sugar, hot all the time. No more straw, in case anyone out there is wondering. Only when I'm driving so that I don't have to be going like that and obstructing my vision. But $5 a day, can't do that math off the top of my head, but very loosely, 5 times 300 for the first 300 days of the year is $1,500 a year. And then we got another 65 days to go after that. So that's over $1,500 a year you'd be spending if you're going and buying a $5 cup of coffee or a $5 latte every single day. So now, does this mean you can never go ahead and buy a cup of coffee anymore? No, absolutely not. I bought this coffee the other day. I do it from time to time. What's important, what I've found, is just be intentional. Don't overlook those small purchases that'll add up over time. Because even, let's say, okay, let's make it easy. $1 a day, every single day of the year. There's 365 days in a year. That's $365 you'd spent on a cup of coffee. Not too bad. But if you make a cup of coffee at home, I'd imagine between all the supplies, if you're having half and half and then just regular coffee like me, I'd imagine it's going to be, let's just say it's half the cost. Well, now instead of $365, it's going to be somewhere around $180. 180 times 2 is 360. So figure about between $180 and $190 that you'd be saving every year. Now, $180, $190 at the end of the year, what comes at the end of the year? The holidays, buying gifts, going out, seeing friends, traveling to family. That $180 that you'd save by having a cup of coffee at home every day versus going and spending even $1 is going to just make things a bit easier. And again, that's best case scenario. A lot of people, I know because I used to do this, a lot of people go and they're getting 2 and 3 cups of coffee a day. And a lot of those coffees are not $2 each. They're $3 each, $4 each. So you could imagine now, $4 for a cup of coffee, well, let's make it easy. If you're going to the cafe and you're spending $4 3 times a day, that's $12 per day. Now, 12 times 365, I can't do that math off the top of my head, but we do know that 10 times 365 is $3,650. So again, it's just important to pay attention to those small purchases and doing things like writing down your expenses and what you're spending every day. You may start in January, you might say, okay, I'm going to start the budget and write down everything that I spend on. Well, you may find all the way through January, you say, wait a second, I spend $200 this month on going to Starbucks? I got to do something about this. $200 is a lot of money per month. It's an extreme example, but I'm trying to make a point here. Now, it's going to give you the power and the ability to see where you're overspending and where you're not. You may think that you're getting such a good deal by paying 10 cents less on gas by going to the cheaper gas station or like down the block. But what you don't realize is your morning cup of coffee is actually costing you a lot more money, even though it's just $2 to $3 every time. It's that $2 to $3 is how your brain thinks that it's much smaller than it actually is overall. It's like one of those sayings, death by 1,000 cuts. Doing it once is not a big deal, but doing it 1,000 times, that can kill you. It's important to be intentional about it. You don't have to do this with coffee. If you're going out with a couple of your friends, a couple of your coworkers for some adult beverages on a Thursday or Friday night, even though no one's really doing too much of that because we're here in 2020 dealing with what we're dealing with this year, you may find that, hey, spending $40 every Thursday night, cut it back to $20. One thing I've also found is when going out for lunch or going out for a couple of those meals with friends is not buying a drink and maybe just getting a free cup of water. They'll give you a cup of water that's a little smaller than this, but you can get free refills in it. That'll save you an average of $2.50. For some reason, I have the number in my head, $2.60. I feel like they always like to put it between those $2 and $3. So once again, you're going to be saving yourself $2 a day. Now, $2 a day times 365, like we said earlier in the video, $730. But a lot of times going out to lunch, we're inclined to be drinking more soda and more sugary drinks that really are not the greatest thing for us. Sticking to water is going to be better overall. But then even if some of these places, they charge you over $2 for a bottle of water. And I admit I've done it sometimes, but that's something else that you can do when you go out to eat. When you go out to a restaurant, whether it's somewhere like Chipotle or some pizzeria, when you sit down, a cup of water not only is going to be healthier for you, it can also be financially healthy for you as well. And you may just find yourself over time spending a little bit less money. And like we were saying, $2 times 365, if you do it one day, if you make that one simple change once a day, every single day of the year, you're going to have an extra over $700 at the end of the year. So it's just something I wanted to share because I think it's overlooked. It's been overlooked by a lot of people. I think people are going to continue to overlook that. I know everyone goes crazy with trying to pay as little as they can for rent, as little as they can for gasoline. They want the best cell phone plan, but they overlook those small things that can kind of add up over time. And I know because I've experienced this before too. Once I started budgeting, I saw how much more control it gave me. And I saw that, hey, I didn't need to go to Starbucks that second or third time. I haven't gone to Starbucks in, I don't even remember how long. I think I went a couple of months ago just because it was a social outing more than anything else. This is the first cup of coffee that I bought in quite a long time. It was decaf because I was working late that night, but I also wanted to, as I bought it, I said it would be pretty cool to share my experience with it. And I do have some basic financial experience and just basic financial ideas. I'm not a finance major or anything like that. I'm a numbers guy. So once again, that does not mean you have to stop and give up your morning cup of coffee. It just means pay attention to what is coming out of your pocket and as far as money is concerned, and watch those small expenses. It could even be the 25-cent extra that it takes you to pay a toll. If there is a toll somewhere in the world, it's 25 cents or 50 cents or $1. Those little things can add up, and if you can find a way of cutting back a little bit, you can really make a big difference. I'll give you another scenario where it can really compound over 1 year. If you cut back 1 cup of coffee per day, let's say you're drinking 3 cups a day and you're going out, you're buying 3 cups a day at $2 every day, right? You cut back 1 cup of coffee, now you're saving $2. Now let's say you go to Chipotle or you go to some of these sit-down places or one of these places for lunch with your coworkers or friends, and you normally would get yourself a soda for $2.50. Okay, so you're spending, let's just make it easy, let's just say it's $4. Like $2 cup of coffee, $2 drink at lunch, right? Now, if you cut back and you have 1 less cup of coffee, or you make that 1 more cup of coffee at home, and you have water at that restaurant, you do those 2 things, you're going to end up saving over $1,000 a month. Because like we were saying before, $2 times 365 is $730. So times that by 2, you'd come out with a grand total of $1,460 extra in your pocket just by having 1 less cup of coffee, or buying 1 less cup of coffee from 7-Eleven, Starbucks, wherever you get your coffee from, and buying 1 less soda with your Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, sandwich shop lunch that you get every day. Overall, it's going to make a big difference, and at the end of the year, you're going to have over $1,000. Like I said, it's going to make the holidays a bit easier. It's just going to make life a bit less stressful. At least that's my experience. Let me know what you guys think if you have any experience with that. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you found it helpful. And let me know your thoughts on the subject matter. If you have, share your experience down in the comments. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time.